All right, so I think that's it for the miscellaneous. Before we get into our topic of the show, we are introducing a new segment this week. So everyone get prepared for
The champion of the week.
All right. So the champion of the week. This is a new segment that we are debuting on this episode. This is going to be where we highlight the goal. I did change it a little bit. Originally, it was just going to be me kind of trashing on people that were just being ridiculous in the community, because we talked about how last week the Overwatch team, they put up with a lot with them. They're trying to, when they post on the forums, they're trying to be transparent with their community, but that does open them up to a lot of ridiculous responses from trolls and other people on the forums. And so what I decided is we're going to highlight an aspect of the community every week that could be something legitimately positive that we see that people are doing, or where we could be using champion sarcastically. And so that if there are people that are just being, idiots, we will highlight that. And I'm not going to post people's names and stuff in certain instances, because I don't want to, draw attention to them and cause them to, I'm not going to be stooping to their level and, maybe, drawing people to their attention to, maybe give them flack. But this week, it's our champion of the week is Jeff Kaplan. He, of course, is the director of Overwatch, the game director. He did something that I just absolutely loved this week. Jeff posts on the forums very regularly. Like we mentioned, he interfaces with the community. He asks them, for feedback. Whenever people ask questions, he's very upfront and gives a reason for why the development team made a specific decision on a specific aspect of the game. But there was a thread on the forums, and let me see who started it. Actually, it looks like
don't say
no.
their name.
I'm not going to. I'm not
that.
going to say the name. This was the person. The person in question did start this. I was just checking to see if there was any more feedback. Like I said, I'm not gonna call this person out specifically. I was just seeing if there was any previous discussion. This particular person said, "The balancing team needs replacement, in my honest opinion. This is outrageous." Now, actually, I'm looking, and it looks like there's just nothing but nonsense responses. So it looks like, actually, to be fair, Jeff Kaplan could have probably went farther than he did. But what he did was he responded to the person who placed this post on there, and he said, "Make a productive post, either clearly stating an issue that you're having, or make a productive suggestion. We won't tolerate demands of people being replaced on these forums. See you in 30 days. So he gave this person a 30-day ban from the forums, so they're not going to be able to post during that time, and hopefully it'll give them a little bit of time to reflect on, what he said. So, I don't know. I just thought this was awesome. Game developers put up with a lot of abuse. It's not right. And Jeff Kaplan's totally right. If you want to make, if this person had something in mind that they thought was an issue, they should have brought it up instead of just making some ridiculous statement like they did. Like if they thought a particular character was unbalanced, or they should have said that, but instead they decided to get snarky, and it's ultimately yeah. So ultimately that's what happened. So what do you guys think? What do you think of our champion of the week here, Mr. Kaplan?
I'm in totally agreement with a fellow Jeff. I think it's great that somebody is out there and they are actively defending their, coworkers and their fellow team members. And I think it's good because I think it's taking toxicity that's, it's basically quote unquote meta toxicity now that's expanding outside of the game, and it's going in now. They're attacking real people for doing their job, and essentially saying you suck, I can do it better. Because if they're able to pass judgment and saying they should, be fired, you're essentially saying that you're better. I mean, because you shouldn't be passing judgment unless you think you know better than they do. And obviously they don't because they didn't post anything constructive. I mean, it's one thing to say, come out and say, well, in my opinion, there's these balancing issues and here's what I think and all that. But when you start just making empty comments with no kind of substance to them whatsoever, it brings a whole new question to like your validity of your argument. And for Jeff to basically come out and say, you know what? No, we don't tolerate that. You're saying that these people should just be fired and you have nothing to offer. Enjoy your 30-day ban. I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I'd personally like to see them kind of drop the ban hammer a little more than they probably do. I think it would dissuade people from, like just leaving these nonsense, toxic discussions on the forums, and we might actually get some productive feedback if they're not so focused on like weeding out people like that.
You got there's another thing that I was discussing with a coworker today. We were talking about toxicity in games and talking about Overwatch. So think of a game that's critically acclaimed like Overwatch, and it's a great game, but you have these people who play and just make the game miserable. Nobody's going to play it because, like, I don't want to play online if these people are going to be jerks. So think about the effect that has. Like, how would you feel if you made a game and it's a great game, but people don't want to play it because it's not the game, it's the people that play it? That has got to be like the worst feeling. Like, I mean, I kind of want to use like an example, like there's like a beautiful statue or something, and it's sitting there, but you don't want to go to it because it's surrounded by jerks, and it's like a bad part of town or something, and so it's this treasure that is there, but nobody wants to go to it because the people that are in and around it are just ruining it, and it's horrible. It's like, I think it's the worst thing, and so I think it's good that Jeff is out there making a stand against this toxicity, saying, you know what, we're not going to stand for that. And I think it's showing a commitment to standing up against these trolls that like to moan and complain and whine about stupid issues. Like, it's like, oh, what, you nerfed Reaper, I'm unhappy now. I can't just go and wipe the team and play the way I'm supposed to play anymore. I can't just be Call of Duty badass anymore. It's absolutely just insane to me, and it bugs me to no end that people complain. It's usually about one character too. It's not like to say, oh, I don't like the synergy between these characters, and I don't like, I think that when I play Winston, maybe Soldier 76 is able to counter me too much, something like that. It's nothing like that. It's always just you nerfed my main. It's never anything constructive at all, ever. And I mean, the people who do make valid complaints never come to the forefront because they're lying low. They're saying the right stuff, and I mean, I'm not saying it's ignored. I'm not saying that.
Well, it's harder for Blizzard to get to that because they're having to sift through all this nonsense that this particular person and other people are doing.
And to those people that are out there, that are the positive members of the community, that are offering good feedback and saying, hey, here's my opinion, that's great. That's fine. It may not be implemented because it may not be with the design goals of the game, but at least you're offering something positive, and you're throwing an idea that in some way that could implement some other idea, like, hey, you know what, we're going to take your idea and we're going to twist it and run with it because it'll work. But at least you're trying, and people are out there being positive, and that's the part of the community that's great, because I think there is a brotherhood of these gamers that, deep down, I mean, because nobody likes to lose. I mean, it sucks. It's horrible. And I'm not gonna lie. There's times where I get mad, and I don't want to, like, I might complain a little bit, but it's usually about somebody who's playing, like, not poorly as in skill wise, but like just poorly because they're not good skill wise, but they're also making it my fault. They're like, well, if you had just played Zenyatta better, or if you had just played Zarya better, whatever. So it's my fault that they were not good or we lost. But it's simple as this. In Overwatch, you win as a team or you lose as a team. You don't There are no individual winners and there are no individual losers. It's a whole team effort. And so you have to sit back, reflect on what was it that made us lose and work on it. And if you were to switch your mentality around, instead of being negative and instead of being, oh, get good, Mercy, get good. Why don't you just get out there and say, hey guys, come on, let's try this or let's do something. And your tone is everything. And people respond better to positivity. And some people might be a little jaded and think you're trolling, but if you were genuine and you're out there saying, hey guys, it was a good effort. Even if you, at the end, just say, hey guys, it was a good effort, good game, good for you, like, for trying. That will raise people's morale. Maybe, you know what? Okay, and hell, you maybe get some people who want to add you and try to play with you more, and you'll be a positive pillar and you'll perpetuate goodness within our community. So for Jeff to be out there, showing that, he does care for, the positivity of the community, I think it's great. And I think he definitely deserves this week Hero of the Week for sure. Or Champion of the Week, my bad. Champion of the Week.
No, that's all right. It's new. It's brand new. I know it's going to take some time to sink in. What do you think, Nick? Do you think Jeff did the right thing, Jeff Kaplan? Or I agree with Jeff. I think he needs to go further. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think if they would have banned his account or something, would have been fine. They do take a lot of flack and silliness. I know. I probably could have been banned a couple times with some hurt.
I don't think permaban or anything, but because that's a little harsh. Because come on, the guy wants to play the game, obviously. But I mean, maybe they could have gone a little further. Maybe they could have extended it in game and say, well, hey, you're. I mean, but then that's like, kind of like, a little controversial to say your actions on a forum could interact with your gameplay. But I mean, it's safe to say if this guy's acting like this on the forums, that he's probably not your best teammate because, he's obviously a complainer. And I say complainer because a complaint is usually not. I'd say a complaint is usually a negative that has nothing really positive to it. So like if I was complaining about McDonald's, I'm just saying, oh, slow, this and that. But I mean, if I had a critique and say, they were a little slow. I mean, the food was good, but like they were a little slow, whatever. That's more of a critique. But a complaint is usually, to me, is kind of empty. That's my connotational take on complaint. But yeah, I mean, I guess they could have taken it further. But I think it was sufficient. I think a 30-day ban so that he can't spread his toxic behavior anymore. Because I mean, I'm sure if we were to look at previous posts, we'd see much of the same.
No, yeah, I did. I went through this person's post history, and they were just the same nonsense. Like, implying that Blizzard's balance team for Overwatch is incompetent, things of that nature. So yeah, this is good. I agree with Nick. I think they need to get more aggressive. Honestly, 90% of the people in that post should have got banned too, because they just echoed the same exact thing. Maybe Jeff only did it because that was the person who created the post. I don't know, but like they mentioned in the past, they're having to spend so much time on dealing with these type of people that people like us who don't, and the majority of people, it's the vast majority of people who play Overwatch do not do that. And they're having to wait on having legitimate things done to this game because you have people, trolls, and just people who don't know how to develop a cohesive argument for something or constructive feedback. And so yeah, it's ridiculous. And yeah, so kudos to you, forum poster. Like Jeff Kaplan said, we'll see you in 30 days. And what I would really like would be for Blizzard to ship you out to Irvine so you can actually, show the development team how little you actually know about game development, because that's one thing that I think people forget a lot. We've only played these games, we don't work on them, and like I mentioned, I think on the last episode, as Blizzard has thought up a million different ways to try to make changes to the game, and they already came up with reasons why it doesn't work. So more than likely, I mean, they do solicit feedback from the community, and I'm sure a lot, that stuff does go into their ultimate decision, but chances are they probably already thought of what you want to, the feedback you want to provide, assuming you actually give feedback, which this person didn't do. They just complained. So yeah, so that's just want to throw that in there. So kudos to you, Jeff, and we're going to do this in the future. Like I mentioned, we're going to highlight people that are doing good in the community and people that aren't doing so well in the community, because unfortunately I see a lot more of that happening nowadays than any of us would like. So yeah, so that pretty much wraps that up. Jeff Kaplan, thank you for everything that you do for us and for everyone else in the community. Thank you for being a stand-up guy and trying to keep the players' interest at heart and being so transparent with us. And you do develop a great game that pretty much all of us do appreciate, and we look forward to seeing what else you have in store for us in general, as well as at BlizzCon. So Jeff Kaplan is our champion of the week.
We love you, Jeff.
And we salute you, good sir.
Thanks, Jeff, from the Overwatch team.
That's right, Jeff from the Overwatch team. That is his actual name. So, all right, so that was the champion of the week. And lastly, because I know